And we are back. Welcome to the second part of my predictions for Premier League Game Week 2 after a weekend where realistically all we really found out is what we already knew in terms of the relegation zone, and barring a miracle even beyond Luton's standards, it looks like we now know who is going to be getting relegated, and it's going to be all three promoted sides. But what we are going to do is, rather than do our usual ramble, we're just going to jump straight to the three fixtures that are taking place over the next couple of nights, because I'll be quite honest with you, the game taking place tonight is the single biggest game of the season. Nothing is more important than this game taking place tonight between Tottenham and Manchester City. So before we get into it, as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you have enjoyed my prediction series over the course of this season. Incredibly, we have only got 2 predictions videos left for the Premier League this season. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because we have just hit 2,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for that. Big 2,000 subscriber video coming out for you tomorrow morning. And of course, we've got a whole host of other prediction videos coming up for you over the summer. But like I said, let's get into it. Game week 37, predictions part 2, starting off with that game between Tottenham and Manchester City tonight. And like I said, this is the single biggest game of the season, because the race for the Champions League, and more importantly, the race for the title, is on the line tonight at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I almost said White Hart Lane. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham at home to Manchester City. Now, we all know the record as it stands. Manchester City, in the Premier League now only, sadly, are yet to score at this stadium. They have not scored one single goal. Yes, that curse was broken when Manchester City scored and knocked Tottenham out of the FA Cup earlier on this season. But the record still stands in the Premier League. And we know that unless Manchester City win this match, Arsenal will be top of the table going into the final game of the season. However, after last night's game between Aston Villa and Liverpool, that one ending in a draw, means that Tottenham know if they win tonight, they still can qualify for the Champions League. And when you look at the fixtures remaining, Tottenham against Sheffield United and Aston Villa away to the one of, if not the most informed team in the league in Crystal Palace, you would think if Tottenham beat Manchester City tonight, they would actually be the favourites to get Champions League football next season. So there is so much on the line tonight. And Tottenham could be the team that gives Arsenal the title. And I know that poll yesterday on Sky saying that more Tottenham fans want to lose this match to Manchester City because it would mean Arsenal don't win the title than actually putting up a fight for Champions League football. I did my whole rant about Manchester United fans wanting Arsenal to win at Old Trafford the other day and saying how disgraceful that would be. I'm exactly the same here. Your club's top priority has to be the best possible solution for your club. So if you're a Tottenham fan that wants Manchester City to win tonight, shame on you. You have a chance of qualifying for the Champions League. It should not matter if Arsenal win the title or not. All that should matter to you is getting Tottenham into the Champions League next season so you can push on and potentially challenge for a league title of your own next season. Anyway, the game itself. Let's be realistic. Tottenham have been awful the last month and a half. Yes, they finally got a win against relegated Burnley, and blimey did they make a pig's ear of that. They basically nearly lost and just about got themselves over the line with a 2-1 win. Burnley, to be fair, weren't even that good. Tottenham probably should have won the game, but like I said, they made a right pig's ear of it. Manchester City have just started absolutely ramping it up and up and up and up and up, and are now absolutely thrashing teams. Just in case this game's a draw tonight, Manchester City have been building up the goals so they have a chance of getting the win on goal difference at the weekend. But, I mean, City are winning this game, right? It would be the biggest shock I think anyone could have foreseen if Manchester City don't win this game. Yes, Tottenham, we all know about the record. Tottenham are capable of beating Manchester City tonight. But the Tottenham I've seen the last the last month and a half, the Man City I've seen the last month and a half, if those two teams turn up tonight, Manchester City take this one fairly comfortably. I'm going to go 3-1 to City. I always think Tottenham will score. Tottenham just have this weird way of always scoring against Manchester City, home or away. But this Manchester City side is ruthless right now. And if they somehow don't manage to score against Tottenham's high line tonight, I would be absolutely stunned. So I'm going to 3-1 to City. Sorry, Arsenal fans. And, well, happy Tottenham fans, I guess, that want this to happen. But I just really think it's going to be Manchester City tonight, and they will go on to win the Premier League title at the weekend, in my opinion. Moving on to tomorrow night, the first game is between Brighton and Chelsea. Now, what's interesting about the two remaining fixtures here is that Chelsea and Newcastle are both in a position to catch Tottenham if Tottenham do indeed lose tonight. And Chelsea go into this game playing some of the best football of any team the Premier League has seen this season. They are playing fantastically at the moment. Brighton had been playing awful, but then they beat Aston Villa and then drew away at Newcastle. So where's this Brighton suddenly come from all of a sudden? Yes, they've had a few players come back from injury, but they've not had all of their key players come back from injury. And it makes this game a lot tougher to call now. But I just think that momentum right now is with Chelsea. And I think they're playing some really good stuff. And I think they're looking at Tottenham and thinking, we could get fifth. Sixth might not even be enough for Chelsea. They could look at Tottenham and go, we can get fifth here. And I honestly think Chelsea are going to end up either 5th or 6th this season, and I'm going to go for 3-2 to Chelsea. I think it's going to be a great game. One of those games where, again, there's going to be a lot of chances, very open. We know Chelsea games are very open, but we also know Brighton games can be very open as well. So I think it's going to be an entertaining one, and I think Chelsea are going to end up taking it 3-2, and they're going to take the Champions League race, not the Champions League race, should I say. They're going to take the European places race to the final day of the season after the Champions League race will end with Tottenham losing tonight. And then finally, we head over to the newly dubbed Theatre of Streams after the embarrassment that was the roof basically collapsing at Old Trafford after the Arsenal game and just pure water drenching the Old Trafford fans. But yeah, we head off to the Theatre of Streams for Manchester United against Newcastle, where the weather forecast, oh dear. But it's Manchester United against Newcastle. It is the last home game of the season for Manchester United and an opportunity to give the fans something to be optimistic for going into next season off the back of what was a good performance against Arsenal, albeit not a great performance against Arsenal because ultimately they did still lose. But Manchester United showed some fight against what is one of the two top teams in the Premier League this season. So I look at this fixture now. I look at Newcastle drawing at home to Brighton. Again, they're in a position where they can catch Spurs if it goes right over the next couple of days. So Newcastle are going to be well up for it. Manchester United need to be well up for it. And I think they could be. It's the last home game of the season. The last chance. Could be Erik ten Hag's last game at home this season. It's a real opportunity for the players to show what this football club means to them at this current point in time. So I'm going for 2-1 to Newcastle. I still think we'll lose. Right? I think we'll score. I think we came up against the best defence in the league, which is why it was so hard for us to create genuine goal-scoring opportunities. I said I didn't know how we'd score against Arsenal, and we didn't, but I actually thought we created a lot more than anyone expected us to against Arsenal, and it just didn't quite work out in the end. If we've got Bruno back for this game, and we still have Ahmad and Garnacho playing that creatively in the wide areas, I think with Newcastle's makeshift defence of their own, I think we could score a goal or two. But ultimately, I just think Newcastle are more up for it than we are. I really do. I think they're playing better football than us. I think they'll come to Old Trafford full of confidence. And regardless of all the things I said about last game of the season, Erik ten Hag, Manchester United, blah, 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 I still think we'll lose. Obviously, I want to put my biased hat on and say Manchester United finish at Old Trafford this season with a win, but I just don't see it. I have to be honest when I do these predictions, like I was with the Luton-West Ham game. I really thought Luton could win at West Ham, but I have to be realistic and say West Ham will probably beat Luton because it's David Moyes' last game. I'm the same here. Manchester United, off the back of that Arsenal performance and after Newcastle performance against Brighton, Manchester United should win this game. I just don't think they will. So I'm going to go for 2-1 to Newcastle. That will see the race for 5th go down to the final day of the season between Tottenham, Chelsea and Newcastle. Very finely poised, but we shall see. That's what I'm going for this midweek. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as I always say, fascinating couple of days up ahead in the Premier League before we round off the season on Sunday with the 10 games that I'll be doing my predictions video for. I believe I'm probably going to do it Saturday morning rather than Friday morning because I'll do my playoff predictions before then. But thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you with my reaction to Manchester United Newcastle tomorrow night.